show you guys how to speed on Blender cutout animation so you don't have to watch 50 reels on your totally useful third monitor that you bought. Yeah, that was the line that I thought of. Okay, so let's go. So here we have this character, and you gotta look at the layer structure very closely. Right. Arrange the layers however you suit them, but the things that are supposed to be switchable, for example, hand poses or mouth poses, you want to put them in a folder which is obvious, and you want to number them sequentially. 1 2 3 1 2 3, because Blender is gonna load them as PNG sequences, right? So you have to sequence them. um, so I'm using Krita for this. You can use any software that has ability to export like batch layers, batch as in like multiple layers at a time, not at a time. Yeah, I guess at a time. So we have this thing here. You can go to tools. I think, yeah, and scripts and do this button. I have added this to this layer thing, and you wanna export this. Select that. Click on this button. Paste the address that you have. Select and export as batch. Ignore invisible, yes. Do not click on this button because we want the layers to be in the same thing, so we don't have to arrange the layers like manually. Oh, do not click on this button because we want to have the layers to be in the same size, so Blender can automatically rearrange them, right? The way you exported them, Blender will reverse the process and export them just in the same order that you did. Click on the, oh, do not click on that, and select PNG, and make sure that you don't have any extra amount of area around the image. Just crop it just enough that the contents are there, because the process that we're gonna use here, that's all we wanna do. And I'm gonna click on this. Okay. Yeah, okay, so the layers have been exported. Now let's open Blender. um yeah, it takes some time. I don't even have that many add-ons in it. I don't know why. Yeah, so you gotta have this. Go to camera view, and now we want to add image plane. Now next thing is very important. You want to set this to emission. Maybe we want to set this to scale to camera frame, I guess. Fill, and then you want this to be either negative or positive depending on how your layers are sorted. You can experiment with that, and then we're gonna make it quite short. This is like distance between each layer. We want the distance to be short but not zero, because then they would overlap, and that would cause some error. Now we wanna make sure that the layers are sorted by date modified, and make sure the arrow wheel like is downward, so the layers that were exported first from Krita, they will come on top, and that's how Blender's gonna import them. Mm, and let's just select that. Oh, and one other thing, we also want these to be in there, like the arms, but if you select this, Blender is not going to import them, right? So what you can do is right click and recursion, and then you go to either 2 or 3 levels, that just depends on, and then you can select these, and make sure you don't select the sequences of the arms, because we're going to do that manually once we do the setup thing. So that we're going to go into the detail later in the video. So now that we have all of this selected, and you can press on import. And now if we go to the render mode, we have the character pretty much. Okay, I don't know why that's messed up. I think it it could be because I didn't like do the arrangement on Krita properly. Yeah, so that's what we have here. The character is pretty much in Blender. You don't have to rearrange anything. It's all just the way you imported them. And for the eyes, we're not gonna go through eyes because there are not good ways to rig eyes in Blender, as for the more like a raster image type thing. But if you want, you can do them in grease pencil and put them here, and that works as well. But next step, how do we cut them out? We don't want these pieces to hang around like that. We would just want this to be the, what's the word? We only want this part to be visible, and we don't want the rest of the mesh, right? Because that's just hindrance. For the hands, you're gonna have to do them manually because PNG sequence is involved, right? If you have multiple poses on the hand, you have to do it manually. Otherwise, if you don't, then you can use the method that I'm just gonna show you in a bit. Okay. Now, if you were not smart like me, you would have to go through all of these and do it manually. But because you're watching this video, I'm gonna show you guys this trick that I discovered, or I don't know. I mean, it's just you're gonna wanna use GeoNodes for that. So don't worry, you don't have to develop anything from scratch. I'm gonna show you the node setup. You can use that, or I'll share the file that's gonna be hosted on my Patreon for free that you can download and use that. But for now, I'm gonna import the GeoNode thing here. I'm gonna go to files, link, because if I'm gonna modify something, not something like if I'm gonna modify the thing in one file, it will be modified in all of the other files that is being used in. Character cutout test, and then we would go to node tree and cutout process. Okay, nothing happened. That's because you have to go to add now, add unassigned cutout, and you'll see this is a bit weird, you know. But the only thing you have to do now is just select arm one, and that's a perfect cut, and then you can apply it and repeat the process, for all of these arm two. I mean, it's not that fast, but it's certainly way faster than doing it manually. I used to work with this guy from like England, and he was kind of a dictator, man. I mean, he paid good, but his ways were very weird. So I had to develop this technique to survive that guy. Well, honestly, I did think the same way I like everyone else did, but I developed that later, like when I go away from that guy. No harsh things. I think he was annoyed just as much from me as I was annoyed by him. But that's okay. And yeah, just like that, you have the like one have the thing is ready. So now, how do we set up these poses, right? That's easy enough. I think we should do that when we do the bones, because bones gonna have control to flip them out. Or I can do that. Then I'll show you how to link that to bone. Right? So you're gonna go to shading, and you wanna delete this guy, right? And we're gonna go to image sequence, or you can just write sequence. Then you go to which hand, your hand L1, and you can select that. Now we have a sequence. You wanna set this to one and one, right? Don't no cyclic auto refresh. Set both frames and start frame to one, and then you can use the offset frame to switch between the sequences, right, manually. So you don't have to wait for the thing to play out and things like that. And now let's plug this into the alpha into this. And for color, I'm gonna plug that in. And now if you switch this, uh, what the hell? Yeah, 0 and 1, right? You get the sequence. If you had more poses, like if you just add them to the folder and restart Blender, it's gonna update them here automatically. So you can add and remove poses from it easily. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the other hand. I'm just gonna quickly do that. Cut sequence. What the hell? Yeah, it's hard to be speedrunner when you can't even type something. And select that, and do that. Set this to one. Auto refresh, alpha, and color, and we have the setup, right? 0 1. Now the biggest thing that I didn't like about Blender was for simpler characters you still had to rename the bones. And I discovered that very late that you don't really have to do that. So I'm gonna show you how I do it now. Now first thing you gotta do is make a root bone. I'll just like do a weird orientation on that, and do this, do that, do this, do that, and make sure this is parented with this thing. Control P, keep offset, and then I'm going to duplicate that. So I copy the parenting thing, and do this, do that, and do that. Same thing here. Because the character is symmetrical, we don't have to copy over the things, right? It just takes more time to do it that way. So do this, do that, and do that. Now I think the thing is basically done, and I'm gonna copy over this. So the thing like the hierarchy stays the same, and we wanna make this bone, and we wanna be sure to clear the parents on this because this is gonna be an IK bone, and we will rename that, right? We don't wanna like, yeah, and make sure to add a slight bend to this, otherwise you're gonna have to add a pole bone to this, which can get very tedious. And I guess we can copy this structure over, like that's just similar enough that we can get away with it. Yeah. So there we have the basic armature done. If you had facial rig, you could add some facial bones as well, but for the sake of time, we're gonna keep it simple. Now you don't have to rename anything, right? What you wanna do is select all of these, uh, select all of these, select that. I'm gonna shift empty, like group with empty weights, and I'm gonna do that. Now now for the hands, these are gonna be, we don't have to assign any weights to them, so we can just directly pin them to the bone. So what you have to do is tab, like go to edit mode of the armature, click on this, click on the bone that you want to pin an object to, go back, select the object, select the armature again, control P, and then you just do bone, right? And same thing here. Like when I narrate that, it looks long, like it sounds very long, but it's pretty fast. You can add the thing to this thing here. Oh, and same thing for the head. We don't have any deformations on the head, so we can just mm, do this. So now oh, oops. Now this is like the rig is almost half done. If we ignore this part, how do we rig that quickly? Well, there is. I'm gonna research this a bit more, but for now, what we can do is we can select this and then select the body that we want to modify, and we go to weight paint. And if you press Control Alt and right click, or maybe left click, Control Shift maybe. Oh yeah, Control Shift left click. You just have to experiment with the thing. And now you can just add the bone, the thing here. You can switch back and forth as well if you want. Yeah, now you have the character ready. So it's that easy to do. I've done it in real time, and if I was not like narrating everything, I could have completed in 10 minutes, which isn't that bad. And yeah, these are pretty good. I mean, if you wanna do like quick crowd scenes and stuff, this is very useful. If you wanna have like, if there's a dance scene and there are a bunch of characters in the background, Blender is very easy to animate dances with. So you can do yeah, ba-da, yeah, ba-da, and this whole thing is recorded, right? So you don't have to hand animate anything, which is very cool. Like no other software has that. Um, but yeah, so that's a quick video. And if you wanna get this add-on or this GeoNode setup, you can. I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. Yeah. So you turn this mess from this to very clean setup with the help of uh, this very small setup, right? So first thing you do is just subdivide the mesh. This is just a safety thing. This node, if these are not enough, you can like multiply the divisions from this node, and then you delete the sections. Which sections? The ones that this image alpha mask has. So you do have to invert the mask because I don't know why, but and then you have to like, so the image maps properly to the plane, right? you have to import the UV mesh attribute and then plug that into the image, and then invert it with color ramp and delete. Make sure you delete, you don't just set it to face, just set it to all. I've made this mistake. I'll fix that before uploading it. Yeah, now we just apply and we go to edit, we go to delete, we go to limited dissolve, or we could just delete the faces, right? It'll optimize the thing a bit more. So yeah, that's the video. um Again, subscribe, and I'm gonna have one more cool video like that I have planned, and I can guarantee you're gonna learn something new from that. And for the future, I don't really have any other plans yet, but I do want to make these very niche things that nobody talks about, right? Maybe in some paid course. But I wanna put these things out there, right? With well, I'll stop yapping.